Ever wondered what a dietitian really is? Well, the long of the short is, it's a person that helps you keep healthy in terms of what you eat, because we all know you are what you eat. So, let's dive deeper into it with our dietitian, Dr. Khumbuzile. Today we're diving into the world of nutrition, where we will be debunking common myths surrounding nutrition, and of course we'll be learning how to be healthy the right way. Today's guest is Khumbuzile, who is a dietitian and a health expert in the kingdom of Eswatini. Khumbu, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you. So, there are a lot of misconceptions surrounding the whole nutrition aspect. So what I would love to know right now is, what are the biggest misconceptions surrounding nutrition?
In my opinion, I'd say the biggest misconception that a lot of people have is that when it comes to nutrition, there's something specific or something magical that you need to do. And that's not how nutrition actually works. It's more about combining everything that gives the best health outcomes, and not necessarily the set of rules that we've set for ourselves. There's people believe if you have a high fat diet, then you're healthy. If it's low fat, then you're healthy. If you eat at specific times, that makes you healthy. And that's far from the truth.
When it comes to food choices, what are some of the great food choices that you advise a person to go for, and what are the bad food choices that a person should always, by all means, try to avoid?
Okay, so in my opinion, or how I approach what I do day to day, I don't label food as either good or bad. Mm-hmm. The only bad food is food that will kill you. Which will happen if you eat something you're allergic to and you have a severe response, or something you're intolerant to. That's the only time I'd label food as bad. But overall, I don't particularly label food as good or bad, because I believe everything can fit into your diet. Mm-hmm. It's all about how you actually balance it. So, of course, to just change the narrative on that between good or bad, I would say we focus more on ensuring that a large part of your diet, most of the food you eat, should actually be healthy foods, which in simple terms would be your fruits and your vegetables. And then you can have a small percentage of the things, your favorite indulgences, your ice cream, your sweets, your chocolate, your fried chicken. You can indulge in it. But the most important thing is to focus on ensuring that the healthier foods make up the largest part of your day-to-day eating. Because, the healthy foods feeds the body, basically. It keeps the body healthy and strong. And those foods that we consider bad, or that we consider to be junk food, they feed the soul. So we need both to actually have a harmonious existence on earth.
Of course, I just love how you talked about labeling and marketing. It goes hand in hand and to a certain extent. So, some foods are generally marketed to seem healthier than they actually are. What's your take on that? And do you have a couple of examples that you could share with us?
Yeah, people always I actually forget that people think that far, but a lot of people think fruit juice is the healthier alternative. And fun fact, there's sometimes 8 teaspoons of sugar in 1 can of liquid fruit. So it's not always, the best option is to always just go for your actual fruit. And then there's also certain labels that we've attached to food that people think it makes them healthier. So people will link lactose-free or gluten-free or even a vegan lifestyle and say that that's healthier. It might be true for some people. It's not true for others. So if you know that you can basically eat a large quantity of food without falling sick, then that's your healthy. But there's a person out there who'll touch something that contains dairy, and that for them is unhealthy because of how the body reacts. Mm-hmm. So we always need to remember to take these things with a pinch of salt, that healthy for one person is not the next person's healthy. Everyone needs their own unique approach to nutrition.
Of course.
And the labels, a lot of the labels are there more for lifestyle and not necessarily due to health.
Mm. Yeah. And I've been saying at the back of my head that most of the things that are written on here,
It's just like nothing drives me crazier than when a person says, I'm vegan, so I'm healthier. No, being a vegan is a lifestyle choice to stay away from animal products.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily link to health.
Okay. So would you say working out complements in having a healthy diet? And if so, how do the two complement each other?
Absolutely. Yeah, they are linked. So there's a saying, There's something I normally say, which is that you can't out-exercise a bad diet. But of course, it also depends on what your goals are with the exercise. So I always say align your eating to your exercise goals. So for instance, if you know you don't want to be a bodybuilder, in the sense that you don't want to have the large muscles and compete, and actually compete based on your physique, why are you following a bodybuilder's lifestyle and a bodybuilder's diet? But basically your eating must align to what your goals are within the gym. But you definitely can't live a lifestyle where you're trying to work out 5 days a week and then your meal is made up of fried foods every day. We're not going to get any results there. Yeah.
So we have a lot of lifestyle conditions currently. We have the high blood pressure, we have diabetes. What would you recommend for people to be able to avoid this type of illnesses, or for a person who already has to be able to live with them, or just completely eradicate?
For the person who already has the condition, you need a one-on-one consultation with the dietitian first, because the modifications we make to their lifestyle, to the way the person lives and eats, it has to be individualized. So we can't give general. If you're already diabetic, I'm not giving you general advice. It has to be tailored for you. But for the person who's looking to prevent the onset of illnesses, it goes back to what I said earlier, that you need to focus on actually ensuring that a large amount of the food you eat is actually nutritious for the body. Because food, contrary to popular belief, is actually it's basically the fuel source of the body. So in the way petrol powers a car, food powers the body. So you can't deprive your body of one thing and expect it to work at 100% efficiency. So if you want to prevent disease, you still need to include all the nutritious food. That includes your carbohydrates, that will be your protein, as well as the fruits and your vegetables. Lots of water and lots of exercise as well, in very simple terms. So basically just live a healthy lifestyle and there's a very good probability that you will actually prevent the onset of disease.
All right. So how does nutrition play a role in overall health and well-being beyond just weight management?
So this ties back to what I just said. I've already answered the question for you.
Okay. Further expansion.
Okay, so all the food that we eat has got a role that it plays in the body. Food is not just there for vibes or to make us feel good. It's actually got a job to do in the body. And by incorporating all the different food groups, that's how we get the best health outcomes. So I'll just break it down simply to say, when we speak about food, we've got the macronutrient group, which is the group that we need in larger quantities. So that's your carbs, or some people call it starches. And then we've got your protein, which is your meat-based foods, or else your beans, basically any legume. And then we've got our fat group. So the fats, there's obvious fats differ because there's the healthy fats and there's the unhealthy fats. So we want our focus to be more on the unhealthy fats. So those nutrients do a very large, basically they've got a larger responsibility for the body. Protein helps to build the muscle. Carbohydrates actually are the fuel source of the body, especially your brain. Your brain loves being powered by carbohydrates. Then we've got fats, which are responsible for basically keeping your body healthy internally. Then we've got our micronutrients, which is basically the nutrients we need in smaller amounts. So that's your vitamins and your minerals. So I describe those as the foot soldiers of the body. So they go into the tiniest microscopic component of the body and do all the repair work that's needed, whether it be to your blood vessels, the blood vessels that are powering your eyes, your heart, your kidneys. That's what the micronutrients do. So they keep the body healthy at a very microscopic level. But to get the best health outcomes, the two need to be combined. So you can't have a diet that has no vegetables and expect good health outcomes. You will have some form of problem that arises from that.
Of course. So today you've done a lot of equipping. You've equipped us quite a lot. So, but before I let you go, I would just like to know, what is one piece of advice that you'd like to share with our viewer at home that concerns nutrition?
Keep it simple.
Okay.
When it comes to nutrition, don't complicate it. Don't overthink it. Just keep it simple. Fruits, vegetables, water, exercise, and still have your carbs. So yeah, keep it simple, basically. That's my slogan.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you.
A familiar face and also a rising star, hence the name Chae Star. She has been tirelessly working on making sure you know who she is and what she's here for. We have a sit-down chat with her so we can get to know what she's all about and more. Tonight we're sitting with a rising force in the music industry. Her music and message are making massive waves, and it is the wonderful, the multi-talented, the beautiful Chae Star. Hi, Mommy, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
It's an honor, guys. It really is.
Yeah, you know, I have people at home watching, and I know a lot of them know you and some do not know you. But what I want to know right now is how has your musical journey been? When did you know that you wanted to do music?
That's so, before when people ask me that question, I would say 2018 was when I officially was brave enough to step out. But if I'm honest, I would say I was born with it. Okay. I was born with it, but when I was a kid, at the age of 3 to 5, I started doing productions with my family. I joined the choir. I was a soloist for 10 years at church.
Ooh, nice.
So I think I've always wanted to do it, but 2018 was when I decided Chae Star needs to live, because I think also being a brain box and being good academically, then I put the music on the side, and I was like, not many people from Eswatini are successful in the industry, so focus on your career path. But then as you progress in life, you realize that your career means nothing if your passion is not there.
Of course.
And music was my passion, so I had to go back and fetch your life, as Prince KB would say.
Yeah. Right, I've seen that you have collaborated with a lot of artists locally and internationally. But when you look at yourself, what would you say is your musical influence?
Okay, so I call myself a multidisciplinary artist. The whole subscribing to a genre, even when you go to agencies, they all say, what genre do you sing? I think I loved music so much, I struggled to be I love all genres. So I've dabbled in many genres, and that's what led to all of the collaborations I've done. Just to find what's my sound, what sound do I resonate and love, I love all sounds, but I think for me, Afro beats, Afro soul, R&B is, will always be a love of mine. But I think the African fusion of sounds, because these days they actually fusing, we have Amapiano, but if you hear some of the music, it's a fusion of all the different elements of African music. So yeah.
So wait, who has been your biggest influence in music? Who have you looked up to for the longest time?
Okay, so let's say for the longest time I struggled to choose a person. I'll say my person I look up to as the greatest creator is God, because God is the creator. So God is my benchmark. And then on earth, people I look to from a production perspective is Beyonce. Beyonce is my, her work ethic, her consistency, her stage presence, her production side. Beyonce, no doubt. But in terms of an international star I've always wanted to collaborate with, that I love his sound, Chris Brown. Yes, so it's Chris Brown, Beyonce on earth.
Yeah.
And then...
And you're naming the Grammy winners. I
receive
from my mouth to
God's ears. I'm there, and I believe the Grammys just the beginning. I always say the Grammys is the beginning. When I started music, I thought the Grammys was the end. But as you get to, to live the dream and you start to travel, when I traveled to LA and I got to perform there, I realized actually the Grammys is a beginning. It's an award for work you are going to be doing for the rest of your life. So it's more a subsidiary. But what do you want to do, Shayla? I want to create productions, world tours. That's the aim. And if on the world tour, I win a Grammy or two, then Yeah.
So what then would you say inspires your songwriting? Is it based off personal experience, or is it just based from how you're feeling at that very moment when you jot it down?
That's a tough one.
It's your DNA.
You know, that song actually has a joke, but I'll tell you, for me, it's a mixture of my lived experiences and of people's lived experiences. So some of my music is about myself and what I've lived, but because I've written all my songs. I've had, you know, and in the writing of the songs, it was the beginning of my music was telling my story. And then when you tell your own story, you start to, as you travel, and your friends, your family, they have their own stories. So some of it is stories, borrowed stories, but stories of people that I love, people that have touched my life in some way, or experiences that I've gotten to witness in people's lives.
Of course, you know, I did some little stalking. Your social media is rich, girl. So rich. And I was wondering, I was looking at your profile, and I'm looking and I'm just like, what has the most memorable moment been? What would you say is the most memorable moment of your career? Of course, also looking at the fact that you've, you know, been juggling corporate and the NGO side all of these years. You've talked about church also when you were younger. It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot.
You know, I think I've made it one of my mantras or mottos in life is enjoy the journey, every step of the journey. Before I spent, because when you're young, you cultivate a character of like, it must happen now. Like, you know, we set these goals. I remember I was like, when I'm 21, I'm going to be married. When I'm 25, I'm going to be, when I'm this and that. And then as you start, you're like, whoa, I'm 21. No, I'm not going to be married at all, you know. So I stopped setting time on things. There's God's time. There's consistency. As long as I show up every day, you know. So in saying that, I want to just say that I learned to appreciate even the worst in the journey. Like even when we're shooting a music video, for example, when we shot one of my music videos, I got stuck in mud. We had to wash the dress, wait for it to be steamed, you know, like, and normally those are moments that you would hate, would be your worst memory, right? Yeah. I've learned to cultivate the mentality of actually, this is a vault of the funny memory. You know, so I have every moment of my journey I've decided is the best moment. But if I had to pick one, like to highlight, like this is it, I would have to say it was the moment I bowed on stage in Los Angeles as a Swati girl, like, yeah.
Swati music to the world.
When we were done, I was just like, I just did that, yeah.
And I'm so proud of you. You're doing awesome. You. You know, being in the music industry in the kingdom is a huge challenge. Have you faced challenges, and how were you able to overcome them, especially, you know, being a female artist in Eswatini? It's tough.
Oh, I think this industry is tough in the world. Like it's one of the toughest industries. If not the toughest. I think it's the toughest. I say this because obviously having experience on a corporate front, you know, a lot of other spaces, even if you don't make it to the very top, there's a top in every company, you know, but with music, there's a top in just specific countries because of numbers, because of following, you know. So coming from a country with only 1.2 million people, it's tough because even if everyone in Eswatini loved and listened to my music, the numbers on Spotify, if someone is raking in 18 million because they live in Nigeria with a population of 256 million people, you know. So I think the biggest challenge coming from Lakaya is that you have to be the greatest export. So that's my music goal, is to become Eswatini's greatest musical export. So the challenge with being an export is people actually have to know Eswatini. So I believe I'm a pioneer of even just who are we? You know, like when I went to Dubai, some people didn't even know where's Eswatini. And normally you'll say Swaziland to try and remind them of the old name of the country. Then be like, oh, Switzerland. And you're like, no, Eswatini, next to South Africa, you know. But what I refuse to do, and I think most artists fall victim to, is end up saying I'm from South Africa because you don't want to explain. So I've made it a goal for me that no matter where I travel, I will explain until you hear, Gutsi, I'm from the only monarch that exists fully in 2025, and it's called Eswatini.
Of course.
Yeah.
And 2025 is about to be a big year for you, ma'am. You know, we're looking forward to something nice that will be happening at the theater club. Nyalo nje, nyalo. Sakala 2025. Please tell us more about that.
Oh my gosh. I thought you'd never ask. Okay, so on the 1st of March, 2025, at the Mabon Theatre Club will be the official album launch. It is a red carpet affair with African flair, and only 250 emalangeni gets you in, and that includes canapé, welcome drink, and a lot of surprises. So it's going to be a live band performance together with curated surprises, a few dances here and there. So also I'll be premiering some of my music videos. You guys have played, I think, 2 of the new ones of the new album, but I'm going to be releasing 5 of the 9-piece album on the night that have not been seen by anyone yet. So exciting times.
March is tomorrow. Have you started preparing? Because March is literally tomorrow.
Like we're waking up there. I'm not sleeping, let's put it that way. I am on like 3 hours a day kind of sleep. But I think we're halfway there. It's just obviously with the band, you have to keep practicing, But girl, I'm going to blow their minds away.
I can't wait, because Eswatini and Esther will be there. So I do hope that you at home, you're also going to be there. Okay.
If you ain't, I don't know where you is.
Come on. What I would like to do for us to do right now is to remind our viewers at home where they can stream your music and how they can keep up with the wonderful Chae Star.
Okay, so I don't like goodbyes. Shout out to you guys, Eswatini Lifestyle, for having me, for visiting me. It's been an honor on my pink couch.
Yes, on the pink couch.
We just had to say that. So my music is available on all digital platforms: Tidal, Deezer, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. It's Chae Star, Chei Star, and on Instagram it's Cheistar_official. Same as TikTok. Keep the handles the same, you know what I mean?
Yes, it's been a great joy having you on the show. Wishing you nothing but the best of everything that 2025 has in store for you.
Thank you. And I can't wait to see you on the 1st of March.
Yes, we'll be there. Don't forget.
We at it again. This one's for you. From the beginning, you own the story, and I finally see it. We are your masterpiece. Deep inside, buried by addiction's genocide. Was a life he had to fight, he had it all inside. They've been trying, they can try us, we gon' never die. God's been on it and he own it, Satan can't deny. Pain and hurt, I see this, all your souls are sacrifice. This pagan world we live in, but I'm here to fight. With all my mind, tell it's him that I take flight. Cause without him ain't no life, oh I won't lie. It's always been you. It's always been you. This soul, your dynasty. It's always been you. My heart, your melody. It's always been you. It's always been you. It's always been you. This body, your artistry. Yeah. It's always been you, God. It's always been you. 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 From the belly, chose to weave me through her story. My father left me, men don't use me, saved the lady. He had to share the